Blast that Peter Pan! Second Nostalgia Critic video to react to. And yes, you read the title, you know which Nostalgia Critic video I'm reacting to. And especially, to start off this reaction video. Yes, I'm reacting to the Nostalgia Critic's review of the 2003 Peter Pan movie. Yes. Oh boy. I have so many fond memories of the 2003 Peter Pan movie. I remember the first couple of times watching this Peter Pan movie. I watched it with my parents. We all enjoyed it. And, I think, especially my mom enjoyed it. And I remember, on the DVD, I remember watching the bonus features. And, it's sad to know that this is, an underrated Peter Pan movie, because there's just something about this Peter Pan movie that's just so memorable, just everything to it, from the characters, the music. Oh my gosh, James Newton Howard's music in this is fantastic. Not to mention, Disney even used a sample of his Peter Pan music in some of their, advertisements for the Disney parks. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Oh my gosh, I remember that very well. And, also, speaking of Disney, there's no doubt about it that when people first watch/see this Peter Pan movie, they would be surprised to know that Disney did not do this Peter Pan movie. They had nothing to do with this. It was all Universal Pictures. Yep, they're the ones that made this movie, and, yeah. And, the fact that because this Peter Pan movie went through so much, in fact, because the producer of another Peter Pan movie adaptation, which being Hook, he wanted to, after working on Hook, he wanted to do, a truthful, faithful movie adaptation of Peter Pan, and he also happened to be in a relationship with Princess Diana. Yeah, I bet you didn't know that. And if you guys know Electric Dragon 505, he's well known on YouTube for doing animation look back. He did a video covering the history and the making of the 2003 Peter Pan movie, and thus he talked about the producer of Hook and, how he wanted to make a truthful movie adaptation of Peter Pan. And as the years went on, he was working on it. It was in progress, trying to do it. Unfortunately, and as we all know, both he and Princess Diana, as their love grew, well, they tragically died in that tragic car accident. Yeah. And thus, his father, he continued on what his son left off, and, he became producer, and thus, in 2003, the Peter Pan movie happened, and, yeah, the results of it, it didn't do that bad. It wasn't disastrous. It got some good response from audiences and critics, but unfortunately, at the box office, it lost to Cheaper by the Dozen, the Cheaper by the Dozen movie with Steve Martin and Bonnie Hunt, and, to top it off, Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King. Yeah, Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King, obviously, was the #1 winner at the box office, while Cheaper by the Dozen, yeah, I take it was at #2. Yeah, they both beat Peter Pan. Hard to believe, especially Cheaper by the Dozen. Wow, that's saying something, and, that's kind of embarrassing and sad for the 2003 Peter Pan film, don't you think? Jeez. But I'm sure, yeah, because as the years went on, it got more love and attention by its fans and stuff like that. Yeah. And, and also, not long after the Peter Pan movie came out, a year after it came out, we would get another movie that has to do with Peter Pan, this time a biopic film. And, yeah, because Finding Neverland, who doesn't remember Finding Neverland? It's really good. It stars Johnny Depp, Dustin Hoffman, and Kate Winslet. And this joke is obvious. I don't know if it's just me or if anybody else thought of this joke. But, Finding Neverland, it features Captain Jack Sparrow, Captain Hook, and Rose from the Titanic. Get it? Because it's so obvious. Like, again, I don't know if it's just me or if anybody else thought of that joke, you know? It's because it's true. It's true. So, yeah. All right, but enough said. I'll talk more about, about Peter Pan and all the other Peter Pan movies after this reaction, because, yeah, we shall go ahead and start this reaction to the Nostalgia Critic's review of Peter Pan. So, let's see what Nostalgia Critic has to say. I hope he has some good things to say about it, especially Jason Isaacs' performance as Captain Hook, because he was the highlight of this movie, no doubt about it. So, yeah. Alright, with all that being said, we shall begin this reaction in 3, 2, 1, play.
Check us out in Michigan on the first weekend of November at Grand Rapids Comic Con. Hope to see you then.
Yeah. I'd love to.
This episode brought to you by Chime, the award-winning app and debit card that can save you money today.
Yeah. I was about to say, because I'd love to attend to a lot more conventions. And especially, I would like to try and meet Doug Walker. After all, because he's one of my inspirations.
Hello, I'm a Nostalgia Critic guy. Remember it so you don't have to. Ever since the stage play in 1904, there's been countless versions of Peter Pan.
Yes.
Well, many people see the Disney one as the definitive version. That's funny. There's been a big push to create the new definitive version. And this is another attempt.
That one, Wendy, because I'm not sure if I've heard that one. I don't know, because I have to look at that. I have to look that up.
2003. This version of Peter Pan is one of the most ambitious, but also one of the spazziest. The tone is all over the place. The pacing goes from calm and relaxed to hyperactive in a millisecond. Even the effects go from Hollywood movie to game based on the Hollywood movie pretty quick. The film does try to stand out from the others, though, with some inventive cinematography, unique changes to the story, and a pretty good cast that leave their impressions on these characters we all know so well.
Yes.
But does that ultimately balance out to a good film or a bad film? Well, we're going to take a look back to see.
Okay.
Exactly 20 years later, let's take a look back at the boy who didn't grow up. Unless you watch them in Realty.
Dreadful.
This is Peter Pan.
How dreadful.
The film opens echoing that thought, reminding us that every child grows up except one. Have you seen how YouTubers make a living? We are many. See, Wendy
Okay.
Darling, played by Rachel Hurd Wood, telling the story of Cinderella, except with a few pirates thrown in.
Cinderella flew through the air, surrounded by pirates. We have come for ye glass slippers.
Christ, why can't that be the Disney remakes? To give you an idea on the film's weird pacing, Peter appears literally 2 minutes in. 2 seconds if you count a shadow. And then suddenly it's revealed there's an off-screen narrator, right after a narrative text.
The night on which the extraordinary adventure begun was the night Nana barked at the window.
Okay, is that a major complaint? No, but it kind of shows the lack of focus the film has right from the beginning. I still remember the way they built up Peter Pan in the Disney version. From the dialogue to the silhouette to that creepy-ass smile that should be a slasher killer mask. In this one, he's just there.
Yeah.
Some details like that sometimes sucks us out of the excitement of the story. But with that said, there's little details that help too.
Yeah.
The effects, for instance, are a perfect example of not looking real, but looking good.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Sin City. You know it's all green screen, but the visuals they create are so good, you actually appreciate that they don't look real. They're like matte paintings in older movies. Why look realistic when you can create a different world that's practically its own work of art? This film
Okay, I didn't think of that.
Very unique visual look.
Yes, it does. It does have a visual look. And I never thought of that matte painting thing that he brought up.
Clearly the way around is to make the Native Americans every race with very few actual Native Americans in them.
Mrs. Darling was the loveliest lady in Bloomsbury.
A lot of the narration is taken straight from the book, including J.M. Barrie's very vague redefining of the word kiss.
How it tries to stay true to the story, as I said.
With a sweet mocking mouth that had one kiss on it that Wendy could never get. Perfectly conspicuous in the right-hand corner.
Can't tell if lesbian awakening, incestual creepiness, or just British people forgetting physical affection.
Oh my god. That's not the case.
Their ad says Wendy is developing her own kiss, meaning she's either emerging into womanhood or finding true love. With creepy scenes like this, I doubt it's the latter.
Eh. What is this? What clip was that from? I didn't get the joke, first off.
Watching Wendy like Denny from the room. Or maybe the fact that the actor couldn't fit through the window because he went through a huge growth spurt during filming. So they had to redesign the window 3 times during production.
Because of his height?
Wendy draws some Tina Belcher fan art, landing her in trouble.
Also, he gave him wings.
This was practically an OnlyFans account.
Oh my god.
Mr. Darling at work, played by Jason Isaacs, sticking to the tradition of playing both the father and Captain Hook.
Sometimes.
One weird change they make, though, is that Mr. Darling is weirdly kind of a wimp. It made sense to make him temper, so it's easy for the kids to see him as a pirate. But when they return home, they see he wasn't a monster, just an overbearing parent who legit still loved them.
Yep.
Here, he's so timid, he has to plan out small talk.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's nervous
He gets angry
to...
when the kids accidentally ruin his attempt at small talk with the boss, resulting in him giving the blow up we'd expect in the story.
This is not a nurse!
This is a dog!
But that's not his personality most of the time. The kids
That
are
could be the
intimidated
thumbnail,
by
I
him,
don't
so
know.
It seems strange to also make him Hook. Hell, it'd almost make more sense to make the aunt Captain Hook, as she seems like more of a threat to the kids. But the flip of that is, you really don't see the same actor in these 2 parts.
Yeah.
He really does seem like an entirely different person as Mr. Darling and as Captain Hook, allowing him to really...
That's what I want to do, the thumbnail.
So, again,
Hopefully
there are
then...
some advantages to this. It's time for you to grow up. He says Wendy has to live with her aunt.
His eyes, you know?
The kids no longer should have a dog as a nanny. And I have to admit, I love him stripping Nana of her uniform.
Yep. They're all in shock.
No, not that.
There you go. There you go. Okay, now add. Okay, just very quickly. Okay, you know what? I'll just... Okay. Like, as I said, like, that could be the thumbnail that I was doing, like, this is a dog. Or, like, the shot where, like, close-up of Hook's Hook, you know, he's back, you know? Like, I want to do that with... Because I have the Hook action figure, of course. Like, that's what I want to do. I'm probably going to go back and forth on that. And I'm sure, yeah, he's gonna show that shot again, because that's a pretty good shot, you know, because Wince-Me tells him, like, what's happening out in Neverland, like, springtime emerges, no longer freezing cold winter, you know, and obviously Hook knows, because of spring emerging and the sun coming out, he knows what that means, because he knows Pan's back, and, you know, all he can say is, he's back, as he's, like, polishing his hook, like, in, like, oil, I want to say, like, steaming hot water, whatever, and, like, when he pops it out and he says, he's back, and I love that one drip, you know, that drops from his hook, you know what I'm talking about? Oh, that's so good. So that's what I want to do for the thumbnail, but anyways. And after a second ad plays, and it's an Old Spice ad. You see a lot of Old Spice ads.
There's a nice speech Mrs. Darling gives about their father sacrificing his dreams for his family.
You put away many dreams. You put them in a drawer. But it gets harder and harder to close the drawer.
So many rejection letters to be a pole dancer. And the 2
Pole dancer?
looks after the children.
Oh, God.
Oh, great. Pazuzu's probably possessing one of the kids. The fairy Tinkerbell enters the room, looking like Shelley Duvall for a second. And Peter follows shortly after, trying to get his shadow back. The scene of the shadow pretending to belong to the aunt is also a nice touch.
Yeah. And then...
Thank God boys' shadows always carry drag wigs with them. Wendy and Peter finally meet.
Can shapeshift, I guess.
Work well off each other, creating some believable chemistry.
What is your name? Peter. Pan. Where do you live?
In a place that gives me no British accents like yours. Yeah, I don't know why that never bothers me in most versions.
Oh, the cleverness of...
Doesn't bother me either.
Of course, I did nothing. You did a little.
I guess
Sumner plays
that's part of the
confident,
character.
Patient and energetically confused very well, knowing he wants to impress Wendy, but not really sure why.
I mean, Allison Williams gave Peter Pan a British accent.
Don't you know what a kiss is?
It can range from a trinket to weird googly eyes you give your mother's mouth.
Stop, Doug.
She's my fairy. There's no such thing as a... Don't say that.
This is gonna end with somebody's blood on the wall.
How hard he hit her by the
She
drawer.
tries to give Peter a, quote, thimble, which of course is a real kiss.
She's not very polite. She said to be trying to give me a thimble again.
She'll piss all over your bed with her fairy dick. Whoa, I'm discovering a lot about you, Tinker.
God.
Michael and John wake
Tinkerbell
up.
was good in
Teaches
this.
them that with pixie dust and a happy thought, they can fly.
Say what you will.
Forget them all. Come with me where you'll never have to worry about clouds.
What's he gonna say?
And for a kid who doesn't grow up, he's acting like something is growing in his Jolly Green Giant tights.
Okay.
By using the same weird close-up as before, because it was so welcome.
Really?
And they rush home to
I mean, the
find
background.
Jason
I don't know.
Find their way into the Jimmy Neutron movie and make their way
The
to
Jimmy Neutron movie.
slash maybe Monkey Island. Again, I don't care. These visuals look awesome.
The Secret of Monkey Island.
The weather calls for a heavy chance of God today.
The sun. It has a face.
We're then introduced to the pirates who are stuck in the cold.
Yep. Oh yeah, and the peg-legged parrot.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm gonna like a Peter Pan movie where that's the first pirate you see.
Well, we saw all the other pirates. I mean, up close.
Interrupt my sleeping by vibrate on candlelight.
What?
This is naturally Captain Hook, who Isaacs plays as a bipolar drunk, and by God, it kind of works.
Threw my hand to a crocodile. Beast liked it so
He has a tattoo. Like, it's really cool he has a tattoo.
The beast, of course, being alcoholism. I've made it to my 13th step, though. Relapse. Peter and the gang hide
Aw,
out
man.
as the pirates spot them
Well,
and try to
if
take
it
them
does
down.
come up again.
Jake, find Wendy.
Peter tells
I will do the
Wendy
thumbnail,
to the Lost
like-
Boys, but she tells them that Wendy is a bird that needs
I'm
to
sure,
be
yeah,
shot
he'll
down.
show it again.
Tink says the bird's called a Wendy.
We call her a bird. We also call her a bird.
Shoot the Wendy bird. Ready!
I don't know what that's from either.
The best Peter Pan stories always have some bit of dark humor in them. They find out
They
that
do.
It's not a bird, and Peter's dismayed to find Wendy shot dead.
Tragic.
They think she's dead at first.
Good shot though.
Okay, I swear that's only the second time I'm only gonna say that's a good dark joke. It's also pretty sick that not only is Tinkerbell okay with Wendy getting killed, but also the boy that shot her.
Who's there? Strike, Peter. Strike true.
Well, that's a shame, but I gotta build up to the moment where I become big, get blue balls, and then shrink back down. If the kid's gotta die, so be it.
Hey, you have to mention Hook, of
So,
course.
The trinket Peter gave her protects her from the arrow. When Peter finds out Tink is to blame, he banishes her and makes a house around Wendy. Because, you know, when guys don't want to confront emotion, we just build stuff.
For you, we built this house. Please be our mother.
Freud's watching this right now saying, come on, prove me wrong a little.
We must spank the children immediately before they try to kill you again. Bad. But we should kill them.
Whoops, the script from another Peter Pan property slipped in there.
John. My brothers.
They forget for a moment that John and Michael are gone, and for that matter, so do we.
Yeah.
Okay, I like the focus is on Peter and Wendy, as that is technically the name of the book, but Michael and John are really forgettable in this. I don't think it's the actor's fault. They're just not given much to do.
And they come across
Just giving
the
John
TikTok
glasses
rock.
doesn't suddenly mean, and he's the smart one. They run into Tiger Lily, who runs into pirates, who all run into each other.
I say, unhand that savage. You savage.
That's such an offensive term. Clearly, we need a very historically accurate musical to show us the way. Exciting news. US
And Nad. Yeah. And by the way, that was like an adult joke, like, cause their pajamas slipped down, and obviously they weren't wearing underwear. Why, in fact, were they not wearing pants? And I don't know. And the fact what Tiger Lily saw, yeah. Again, like, that's obviously an adult joke, pretty funny. So, you know. And again, because TikTok Croc, like, they woke up TikTok Croc, and just like, yeah, if you saw in that shot, because with his eye, like he knew what was going on when he woke up, and you could see the look in his eye. He was just preparing to terrify them. So yeah, all right. So let's continue. I hate when that happens, like when ads play and a sponsor. So
You saved Earth from an asteroid by punching another asteroid into it. You told taxes they suck, so they stopped.
Doug never fails to, you know, do something pretty funny / good for sponsors, you know?
A little money, which a little...
Doug had an American flag. Like, it's funny. I don't know. It's like, chime. It's, I don't know. Alright. Okay, back to it.
Peter and Wendy go to the mermaids to see if they know where John and Michael are. Or more like the the ring girl, if they spoke gods, must be crazy Eves.
Okay, now that I think about it, especially with the ring.
Well, if there's anything literally the first people I met taught me is trust everybody here.
Yeah.
They're told Hook has her brothers at Castle Grayskull, where they plan to drown them to lure out Peter.
It's not... Yeah, it's not Skull Rock, it's the Black Castle.
Demand his friends be set free. Isaac's reaction here is hilariously confused.
Where are the children?
Yes.
Let it go.
You won't.
Let it go.
At what
You
part of your
let
act would you
them
like to eat for your last meal?
go.
Pan reveals himself, and they have a big duel.
Yes.
We discover Wendy's play sword fighting is, I guess, as on point as a pirate sword fighting. And also relationships move really fast in Neverland.
Yeah.
Now you're pregnant. Don't look at me, Neverland rules.
Tiger Lily's pregnant.
To die will be an awfully big adventure.
Well, the box office disagrees.
Uh,
The crocodile
as I mentioned.
scaring the pirates off and allowing the kids to escape. Tiger Lily's tribe celebrates her safe return as Peter and Wendy get some alone time.
Mr. Smee said something that was funny.
Fairy orgy. I didn't know their wings could fit in there.
When the TikTok rock had Captain Cook cornered and Smee said something funny.
He drops on them along with Tinkerbell.
He has found himself Wendy.
Hmm.
Hook is all alone.
Did they both think they were gonna end up with it? What's going on?
Wendy,
Well,
it's only make-believe, isn't it?
That's why we have these purple Fellowship of the Ring filters. I think these two have a very convincing chemistry, with both of them trying to figure out the feelings they have for each other. The only difference is Wendy is more accepting of them, and Peter is more in denial of them.
Why do you spoil everything? We have fun, don't we? I taught you to fight and to fly. What more could there be?
I don't know, but I think it has this music.
oh my gosh.
They add a moment I don't usually see in Peter Pan, but I really like where Peter goes back to the Darling House to see how much Wendy's parents miss their children. But Peter doesn't want to share them.
I know it's close. It must always be open for them. Always, always.
I like dramatic moments in kid films that remind you of parents' fear of losing their kids can be very terrifying. I also think it's possible Peter might be jealous because he abandoned his parents that may or may not feel the same way about him. For all the bizarre moments and editing choices, scenes like this do add a needed gravity to the film.
Yep.
Hook and his pirates move Wendy's house to his ship, which I love she never wakes up through. And Hook tries to show he's not so blood-hungry.
Throwing
She fell asleep crying, so...
barbarous business.
Things were simpler when I was younger.
Middle ages. Not everything is cracked up to be.
Didst thou ever want to be a pirate?
I once thought of calling myself Red-Handed Jill.
Okay, that's actually a really good name.
Red-Handed
Sounds like the
Jill.
daughter of a Muppet that banged Tim Curry in Muppet Treasure.
Oh my god.
Cordial, join us.
Hook asked Wendy to think over his offer while his men return her.
None of my crew will follow you. My new obsession is you.
Dude, even a child catcher would be like, I don't know about you. Let's return home as the boys hear Hook has a new pirate named Red-Handed Jill, which they think they can take on easily.
I shall run her through. Then ready yourself.
The look on Wendy's face.
How'd she do that? Where she's saying the name Peter Pan, but it sounds like she's saying the word bitch.
I've forgotten
Okay.
my parents.
She convinces Michael and John to come home before their memories of it completely disappear.
I have arranged a fairy guide to lead you back.
I arranged it on Fuber.
Fooper?
Peter refuses to go with as Wendy tries to make him face
What is that
her.
again?
I want always to be a boy and have fun. I think it is your biggest pretend.
Again, there are so many workarounds with this problem. Wendy leaves the hideout, finding the pirates waiting and capturing them all. Except for Peter, who Hook can't reach because, well, he's a grown-up.
Lest he should be taken alive, Hook always carried a poison.
Am I the only one who thinks the narrator sounds like the audio descriptions most movies have?
Hook pours Starbucks refresher into Pan's drink. Tinkerbell
Starbucks?
sacrifices herself by drinking it, as everybody knows Starbucks beverages cause immediate diabetic comas.
The...
So sorry, Tink. Please forgive me.
As I mentioned, Tink does sacrifice herself when Peter won't listen. And in a clever workaround from getting the audience to chant they believe in fairies, he asks everybody in the movie to
believe in fairies. I do. I do.
I do believe in fairies.
Even
Admittedly,
George
I think
Darling.
This would have worked better if everybody in the real world was asleep. Since Neverland is the world of dreams, I would believe this somehow worked its way into people's dreams. But some of the grown-ups being awake is a little much.
Yes.
I do. I do.
Oh,
Only two of them
so
are
having a
awake
premonition where
that we
another
see.
me was trying to seduce and kill my own daughter. I'll write my own paper.
Oh my gosh.
And
And the rad. I'm curious now. Now that Nostalgia Critic brings that up, I wonder if the audience who saw this in theaters actually did do that. That would have been interesting and fun. So, I don't know. Probably so. You know. Okay. Again, it does this like.
Force comes back to life, and they fly towards the ship to save the
He's
day, just as
alive!
Tries to distract them by telling a story.
Was one of them pirates called Noodler?
Oh yeah, that pirate.
That dude only got 2 lines, but screw it, he's my favorite pirate.
Yeah.
Except maybe that guy. What the hell's his story?
I don't know.
Walks
But
the
that one pirate where his arms are backwards. Wilhelm.
How dare you, Wilhelm, my men! Fight with
Good
the
one.
Lost Boys joining in, but Hook gets the fairy dust and takes to the air.
Did you forget to mention that Smee escaped?
He flies now. Hook tries to bring Peter down, and they have a pretty fun time with the lighting as Pan's happy thoughts vanish the more he thinks about Wendy leaving him.
He'll die
Hook gets to him.
and unloved.
But don't you know, Peter, your friends were the Wendys we made along the way, or something like that. Wendy confesses that even though she has to grow up, she still cares about him, which gives him all the happy thoughts he needs in the world.
That sends all the pirates flying because of like that.
My God, if somebody told me Nookie was a thing, I would have grown up a long time ago. Peter defeats
The blast
Hook and tosses
wave.
him to the croc. The next
Old,
step is
alone,
to
done
call
for.
all the fairies to lift the ship in the air in yet another series of beautiful imagery.
Yes. Yeah, like that's so good. And the pirate ship.
You can finally take your kid to the theater bathroom.
That is so good.
They return home, much to the joy of their mother and attempting to be proper father.
Yeah.
Okay, even as proper British stereotypes go, even the bad guy from Moulin Rouge is saying, "Tea and crumpets, take it down a notch."
Well, no, he breaks down, of course.
As it looks like the Lost Boys as well are looking for a home.
I would like to introduce the Lost Boys. May I keep them?
Christ, how do we go from missing 3 to gaining 9? But by a rather amazing coincidence, one of the Lost Boys' actual mother happens to be the aunt.
Is your name slightly?
Yes.
Hadouken!
Then I am your mother.
How do you know?
I feel it in my bones.
It's Dark Knight Rises logic if you just kind of get a vibe.
Is she? Because I forget.
Peter still stays distant but vows to return to see Wendy grow up.
You won't forget me, will you?
And how is it that nobody else?
Take care, Elizabeth. Wendy, I know, Vanessa. And that was Peter Pan. It's almost good.
Yeah, it is.
I think the biggest problem is the editing. It feels like there's another 15 or 20 minutes missing. I feel like that would help out a lot more of the awkward or rushed moments. But it is visually dazzling despite its often cheap-looking effects. It is refreshing to hear so much of the original text in the big screen version. And the chemistry between Peter and Wendy is still very strong. You feel this compassion and need to understand each other as they're both struggling with what it means to grow up and carry more responsibility. And each shows that in their performance. In fact, most of the performances are pretty solid. So yeah, I don't know if it works all the way for adults, but I think kids growing up with it will like it fine enough. Not flawless, but still has a fair amount of happy thoughts.
Yeah. Good point.
Unlike some other retelling of fairy tales. I'm the Nostalgia Critic, and I'll see you at the next one.
What are you gonna do next? Oh, I just saw. What was that flashed?
It's all alone.
Okay, what was that flashed?
Look for cameos for charity.
Okay, I gotta see that. Something flashed on the screen. What was it? I assume it's something else fairy tale-ish that he's gonna review next. Oh! Is he gonna do that one next? Is he? Oh my gosh! Well, obviously I'm gonna have to react to that as soon as possible. Probably, yeah, because, like, later this month when I react to 2 more Nostalgia Critic videos, maybe it'll be one of them, but who knows, like, if there's gonna be other Nostalgia Critic videos that, I'll want to consider reacting to, just have to wait and see. That's all I can say, and when they come out, throughout this month, so just have to wait and see. But definitely, I will plan/consider on reacting to what he is going to review, I assume, next time. So, yeah, so... Actually, well, as I record this, it's before the next Nostalgia Critic video comes out. You're watching, because obviously you're watching this on Friday, and obviously by now, another new Nostalgia Critic video that came out this month is already out, and obviously it's this. So, yeah, so you get my point, so, excuse me, anyways. Alright, but overall, that was pretty good. His review on the 2003 Peter Pan film, not that bad, and all that he had to say, yeah, understandable, and I think, yeah, it was well said, for what he had to say. But, more on that and everything else that I have to say in the next Jump Cut. Hey guys, so that was my reaction to the Nostalgia Critic's review of the 2003 Peter Pan movie. And yeah, again, it was a pretty good, not bad review on, what he had to say on the 2003 Peter Pan film. And again, as I said at the beginning, it's sad what this movie went through, how many years it took for this to be made, and how, because when it finally happened, again, it didn't turn out to be a disaster, but it was, again, beaten out, in the box office by Cheaper by the Dozen and The Return of the King, and how, it is an underrated Peter Pan movie. Nobody really talks about it that much. I mean, there are some like myself that, of course, still, would talk about this sometimes, and a couple of other things that I saved for this that, because I didn't talk about at the beginning of this, because, obviously I wanted to, do the reaction. I read this, and Doug didn't mention this, and nor did Electric Dragon 505 bring this up, especially Electric Dragon 505, aka Animat, as I mentioned, he did a video covering the history / the making of the 2003 Peter Pan film. At one point, it was considered, they were considering making a prequel to Hook, and Dustin Hoffman, would have returned, reprising the role of Captain Hook, obviously, but, unfortunately, he wasn't interested in reprising the role of Captain Hook, and thus, the idea of doing a prequel to Hook, completely scrapped. Yeah, obviously, they wouldn't have done it without Dustin Hoffman, and yeah, so it's a shame, because, he was a really good Captain Hook, as I said. Because, again, from him, Jason Isaacs, and Disney's Captain Hook, some of the best Captain Hooks, I tell ya. And of course, the Peter Pan movie that we finally got, and which, again, came out in 2003, yeah. And Jason Isaacs, because he was, the perfect role for Captain Hook. As I said, he was the highlight of this film, and I can tell, yeah, because Doug, aka The Critic, he had some nice things to say about Captain Hook. Well, some nice things about this movie, how it does it very well, like with Peter Pan, like when he abandoned his parents, that subject he talked about. Some of the visuals in this, yeah, because the visuals are fantastic. Oh my gosh, and he did not say anything about James Newton Howard's score, because it was fantastic. And as I said, Disney used a sample of his Peter Pan music in some of their commercials, advertisements, promos for the Disney parks. Wow, The music, again, was another highlight for the movie. It was fantastic. James Newton Howard is a fantastic composer. You name it. He's done so much. From, say, a couple of Disney films, from Dinosaur, Atlantis the Lost Empire, Treasure Planet. He did some other adventurous movies, action-adventure movies, I should say. And I remember he did the music and score for M. Night Shyamalan's Signs. Yep. Yeah. And the other, Peter Pan movies that would come out, the years to come, aside from Finding Neverland, which I've already mentioned, there was, of course, I did mention a little bit of this. In 2014, the live Peter Pan musical, with Allison Williams as Peter Pan, in which I mentioned Allison Williams did, do Peter Pan with a British accent. Not that bad, actually. She does a pretty good British accent. And Christopher Walken as Captain Hook. Come on, it's Christopher Walken. He's good in anything. Sure, yeah, I understand there were some embarrassing moments, awkward moments, I should say, for him as Captain Hook. Especially, I think, that one infamous moment where apparently he forgot a line, and the part where he's like, Peter Pan has found the mother. Oh, ho, ho. That's my best Christopher Walken impression, I'm sure I did pretty good, so... Oh, ooby-doo, I want to be like you. I've got a fever, and the only cure is cowbell. I had to, so... to finish off and top off my Christopher Walken impression... and a year after that came out with Allison Williams and Captain Hook, well, in 2015, and even Nostalgia Critic, he did a review on it. Pan. Does anybody remember Pan? Yeah, I remember when it came out. I remember seeing the trailers, and yeah, it too is a very underrated Peter Pan film. It came and went, and that's it. So, yeah. And definitely I'll plan on reacting to Nostalgia Critic's review of Pan at some point down the road. And yeah, of course, Nostalgia Critic had to mention it. Yeah, the Disney live-action version of Peter Pan, being titled Peter Pan and Wendy. Yeah, I mean, I understand it didn't do that good, and it wasn't not what I was expecting. Sometimes you don't expect how movies are going to turn out until you see them, and not what I expected from Peter Pan and Wendy, but overall, I actually thought, and this is me being completely honest, I thought Peter Pan and Wendy was actually not that bad. The same goes for my mom. We actually watched it around the time when it came out. I think literally the day it came out, we watched it that evening, and we didn't think it was that bad. And oh my gosh, come on, Jude Law as Captain Hook, he was great as Captain Hook. And what's his face as Mr. Smee? He was good too. The kid actors who played Peter Pan, Wendy, the Lost Boys, and Tiger Lily, yeah, they were all good too. And speaking of Wendy and Tiger Lily, Evan Rachel Wood, Rachel Evan, who played Wendy in the 2003 Peter Pan film, and the actress who played Tiger Lily. One more thing I'd like to mention. They reunited in an interview that was hosted by Tammy Tuckey. I don't know how many of you would be familiar or know Tammy Tuckey, but she interviewed the two actresses who were in the 2003 Peter Pan film, a reunion for them, and talking about their experience working on the Peter Pan movie, and especially, I think if I recall, what it was like to work with Jason Isaacs, because, especially in the DVD of the Peter Pan movie from 2003, the behind the scenes and the bonus features, Jason Isaacs, doing a video diary, all while he and the cast are working on the Peter Pan movie, really good, and obviously, they were having a blast, and especially everybody enjoyed working with Jason Isaacs. Yeah, who doesn't love to work with Jason Isaacs? He's such a good sport, a nice guy, and he's a fantastic actor. And one more thing, the fact that a year before Peter Pan, he was in the second Harry Potter film as Lucius Malfoy, and then a year after being Lucius Malfoy, he would go on to be Captain Hook. And years later, he would be in something Star Trek. Yeah, in Discovery. So, Jason Isaacs, you know, he's such a good actor, and you know, and also he's done a lot of voice work as well. I recall because he was in a couple of DC materials, you know, DC Comics materials, animated that is. And also, he could do a pretty good impression of Sean Connery and Ian McKellen, because he did appear a couple of times in the Twisted Tunes panels. Do you know what I'm talking about? And if anybody knows Twisted Tunes, and he did Sean Connery and Ian McKellen, oh, that was so good. Yeah, again, he's such a good sport. Yeah. And, okay, and aside from Jason Isaacs, all the other cast members, they were great too. And Tinkerbell. I'm surprised that Doug didn't even say anything bad about Tinkerbell in this, because I didn't see anything wrong with Tinkerbell in this. The actress who played Tinkerbell, she was fantastic. And also, yeah, from Peter Pan, Wendy, John and Michael, the kid actors, and Mr. Smee. Yeah, Mr. Smee was good too. What's his face, who played Mr. Smee? Yeah. Just everything about the 2003 Peter Pan film, I think, is really good. It's sad that this is underrated and it's not appreciated that much, but, you know, it holds a charm to it, and that's a good thing, you know? And all the things, the positive things that Doug, as the Nostalgia Critic, had to say about the 2003 Peter Pan film. And what about you guys? What do you think of the 2003 Peter Pan film itself? And what did you think on what Nostalgia Critic had to say? And what did you think of the video itself? And what did you think of my reaction? Leave comments and give this reaction video a like, as always. So, with all that being said, thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed my reaction to the Nostalgia Critic's review of the 2003 Peter Pan film. More reaction videos are on the way. They're going to be awesome. Keep looking forward, and I'll see you guys in the next video/reaction. And happy anniversary to the 2003 Peter Pan film. Take care, and peace out.